All right, all right. Oh, why am I so close up on the camera? Lord, oh, there we go. Ooh. What's going on, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Manup Real Talk podcast. I am your host, Mr. Michael Wiley, saying greetings and salutations to all of you, our faithful followers and listeners. Look, y'all know we appreciate every like, share, click, and download, and whatever it is that you do to support this podcast, because we know that had it not been for you, there would be no us. So we greatly and honestly appreciate it. Now, for those of you all that's joining us for the first time, we say welcome. And for everybody that's back for a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th helping, we say welcome back, because your boys is back on the air with the Manup Real Talk podcast, the podcast for the peoples. And joining me as always is my brother-in-law, my brother in arms, my partner in crime, the Robin to my Batman, the electricity to the lamp, the box to the UPS delivery man, Mr. Philip Hines, a.k.a. Mr. Classic, a.k.a. OG Triple OG, who is always and definitively in the building.
What's going on?
Man, nothing, man. How you feeling?
Chilling, man. Tomorrow, big anniversary, so I'm chilling, man. About to get it set off tonight.
Oh, yeah? No,
Yeah.
That's right. What is it, 10 years, 20 years? 8 years, 9? Well, I know I'm in the ballpark.
No, me and Jackie been together forever, but we've been married for 9 years.
9 years in the game. Come on.
Yeah, that's my best friend, so you already know that go.
Yeah, so look, happy pre-anniversary to you and the sister-in-law. God bless y'all union. And I pray that y'all be married for 9 times 9 more years.
We are.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's up. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Gotta say what's up to everybody in the chat. I see Mitzi is in here. What's going on, Missy Faye? God bless you. Sister Hines is in here. Hey, what's going on? And I see my girl Regina's in the building. Glad she came through with her surgery. She in the building. What's going on? Appreciate y'all coming on. Whoever else is in the chat, maybe you just didn't put anything, but you're here and you're watching and you are tuned in with us. We say thank you, and thank you. Yes. We wanted to continue this trend with our men's wellness thing, our men's wellness check-in. We did it last month and we had a really good response, and we wanted to continue it. So this episode, of course, we're going to be doing it a little differently. As you may have noticed in the chat, we actually pinned the link to the broadcast. So if you wanted to actually chime in and come in live with us, you can click onto that link. We'll bring you into the virtual studio and you can come on and you can chat with us live. If you want to chime in, have some comments or whatever it is that you want to do, it's open to the fellas, it's open to the ladies. But we just really wanted to make sure that as we are called Man Up, really the name is a double entendre. Right, it serves the purpose of as men, we need to make sure that we are stepping up to our responsibilities, but also as men, we have to make sure that we are our brother's keeper, and it is our purpose to make sure that we help our brother when he's down, to bring the man up, if you will. And so we have a new focus on the direction that we want to go and take this podcast, and I believe that God is going to bless it because we just want to be a help. And I came to the realization that just being on social media, I'm like, we've been approaching this the wrong way. And because originally when the whole concept of social media was created, is really just to keep in contact with each other, say how you doing, what you doing, those type of things. But it's gotten to a place where now social media is just look at me.
Yes, sir.
Look at me. I want you to acknowledge me. I want you to validate me. And so instead of chasing that, I'm not going to even worry about that. My goal and my purpose, what we're doing here, is to be a help. That's the whole thing. And however we can do that, whether it's one person, whether it's 10 people, 100, whatever, we just want to be a help. If at the end of the day, and if at the end of this show, somebody sees something differently, somebody may think differently, they feel differently, maybe they have a different aspect, whatever it is, then we've done our job.
Now you're getting it, brother-in-law. Now you're getting it.
And that's the mold that we're going to go. So
yes, sir.
So that's what we're going to be on, people. So if you're against the betterment of your fellow man, this ain't the show for you. If you don't want to see men do better and be great, better fathers, better husbands, better brothers, uncles, friends, this ain't the show for you.
Not at
because
all.
That's what we're about. Now, don't get me wrong, we're gonna still chime in on the stuff that's going on, but my focus and my goal is my brothers, and to make sure that we are the best versions of us that we can be. And ladies, that means that you guys, look, I don't mean that you all ain't included, because you all play a big part of that. You know, so you all, look, y'all need to chime in, because maybe there's some things that we miss. Yep. You know, we don't know everything. I'll be the first one to admit I don't know everything.
Y'all help us out.
Look, you got to help us out, and we don't mind the help, and we appreciate it when you all chime in and when you all help us. So the link is there. If at any time, if anybody want to chime in, you want to come in, if you have something that you want to add to the conversation, because that's what this is about. It's moving the conversation forward. Then feel free to chime in. That's fellas, and for my ladies as well. I want to do something different this episode because, as I said, our goal now is to help the brothers out. Is to help us out, help us to be better in whatever category that we can be better in. One category that we can always strive to be better is better fathers. Ladies, I'm just going to be honest with you. It's a challenge. And I'm not saying that it's not a challenge for moms. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But it is a challenge for fathers, because love for mama is almost instantaneous. It's almost like automatic. Dads sometimes have to build that relationship.
Yeah.
We have to create those bridges. We have, you know what I'm saying? Because mama is mama. She nurtures and she coddles, and she's done all of that thing. So there's an instant connection.
And that's not gonna never change, Mike.
And it'll never change. And we're okay with that. We accept that. That's the role that we've been assigned.
Nothing like a mother's love. Nothing like a mother's love.
Nothing like it whatsoever. That being said, dad's love, dad's love is just as important. But it's important for us dads to understand the role that we play, how to play that role, and to understand that it's not going to be like mom.
Yep.
It's just not. So we have to know how to do that. One of the biggest challenges that I've come across, and just on some of the forums that I've been on and some of the websites and stuff that I go on to, is that dads struggle during the child's teenage years. When it comes to sons, and especially when it comes to daughters, there is an inherent struggle. A struggle with daughters because, you're so used to baby girl, this is my baby. She was under you. She was daddy. She was there when you came home. She was hanging on to your leg and all that stuff. And now that she got a little older, dad, she ain't trying to be around dad that much. She may not want to hang out with you as much as she used to.
Especially when they get a little boy sniffing behind them.
Right. They have other interests. They want to hang out with their girls. They may have a little guy that they're interested in. There are things now where dad is no longer the center of the universe. Now, the difference with boys is that there's a power struggle. Because normally when the guy's coming of age, he, just like most women too, the kids are, when they get in their teenagers, they're trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
With guys, you have influences on the outside that's pulling you this way. You have dad pulling you that way. And then you have your own, as a teenager, you have your own vision or interpretation of what things should be and how they should work. So there is a power struggle when it comes between the son and dad. And so what we have to do is we have to figure out how to maneuver those things. The Lord gave me this some years ago, and it helped me when it came to raising my boys. And I wanted to share this with you guys. I may have talked about this before, and I think I may have shared this with you too. There is 3 stages of growth that we go through as individuals, right? The first stage is adoration. When you are a child, your parents are the center of your universe. It's mommy this, it's daddy that, it's look at me, it's oh my God, I can't wait for them to get home. Look at my drawing, look at what I colored, look at what I built. Can I help you? I want to be daddy's little helper, I want to be mommy's little helper. You are the center of their universe. You adore your parents. They are the greatest things since sliced bread and juice boxes. This adoration. The second stage is aggravation.
Yeah.
This is when they start getting into that preteen to young adult stage. Now, everything that you do aggravates them to no end.
Mm-hmm.
It irritates their very existence that you are even talking to them at some times. Everything that you do or ask them to do is an inconvenience. It's something because normally what you want them to do is the complete opposite of what it is that they're trying to do. They don't want to do anything. You always trying to kill their vibe. You don't understand. You're old. It's not the same as when you were coming up. You don't get it. So they're aggravated with you. The final stage is appreciation. Because once they get to a certain age, once we got to a certain age, and we saw that all the things that our parents was telling us was not to stop us from having fun, it wasn't to keep us from our friends, but it was to help us to navigate life, to be productive members of society, and hopefully to go forth and be better than they were when they came up. The trick, however, is navigating that aggravation phase. That's the tricky part, is navigating the aggravation phase, because that's a hard phase to get through, man. Everything that you do is like, oh my God, it's the parent. It's you.
Yeah.
What do you want? Why do I have to do that? Why do we have to go? Why is this? Why is that? It's just like, good Lord, child, just shut up and do it. But that's a hard phase that we have to learn to navigate through. And dads, sometimes it's a little harder for us because, especially when you're a guy, it's some things that you don't want to give up, or some things that you don't want to give up on. You don't want to go soft on. You just be like, no, it's because I said so. It's because of this. It's because of that. And then a lot of times that makes them more resentful. So we have to learn how to navigate that aggravation phase. So I came up with some things and just kind of on some websites and looking up some stuff. And you guys can chime in at any time if you have anything that you want to add. We're going to talk about some things that can help you to build dads, to help us to build stronger relationships with our teenagers. Anything you want to add to that, Phil, before we continue?
No, you said everything you said was on point. I mean, I have nothing else. I have nothing to say to that. I just want, everything you said was really on point. And
I think we can. I mean, and again, we don't know everything. I'm 19 years in the game because Michael is 19. Phil, I know you. How old is your oldest?
29 years in the game.
So you got 29 years in the game. And here's the thing, you guys. Before you had your kid, you were not a parent.
Nope.
You had no idea what to do as a parent. And the thing is, being a parent is a lot of trial and error. You learning on the go. I mean, to be honest, everybody's parenting skill is not the same. So what may work for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me.
Like I had all my kids. I had all my kids in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about it. When I had little Phil, I was 22 years old.
Okay. I'm
still young. So my parenting skills was
minimum
obsolete.
To none.
Yeah, that's obsolete. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking my parents and, their mother, she's getting ideas from her parents and stuff. But, we had our kids young. So it's like, I really didn't know nothing about being a parent. So it was a lot of mistakes that I made, but I think I made those mistakes because I was real young having kids.
Right.
By the time I was 26, 27, all my kids was in the world, so.
Yeah. So look, and so let me ask you then with that, Was it because you have both boys and girls?
I got one son and 4 girls.
Wow. Okay. So dealing with their teenage years, was it different with your daughters versus your son? And if it was different, what was like the biggest difference?
The difference was my son, we as boys, and Mike, me and you went through it too.
Yeah.
Once we get around 15, 16 years old and we start, noticing ourselves, we start smelling ourselves where we're not really, I think it's just testosterone, but we go to that phase where we want to challenge our father until our father put us in our place.
Right.
I did to my father. He put me back in my place. And with Lil Phil, he got about 15, 16 years old. He started smelling himself. So but this is something as a father you have to do. Once that boy start bucking up, you have to put him in a place and still let him know that I'm your father. Because if you let that happen, he's going to run over you. Remember, you're getting older. You know what I'm saying? So it was like me. I was bigger than my father. By the time I was like 13 years old, I'm taller and bigger than my father.
Right.
So,
you was definitely going to try to test him.
Yeah, I tried it a couple of times. I told you about that when he bust my nose. I had to go stand in the line at Aldi's for a 26-cent can of tomato paste.
Well, Pa, go get that paste, boy.
Yeah, I talked back to my mother. My old man, he did it so smooth, though, Mike. He came out the room. My mother like, this boy say he want to go to the store for me. He didn't say nothing. He came out the room. Bah! And went right back in. He did it so smooth. I'm in Aldi's with a bloody nose telling my friend, just give her a tomato paste. I'm running away. I ain't coming back. So, but we all, but that's why I say that sometimes we as parents, we have to look at the things that we did when we was young.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You have to just, when you're a first-time parent, you have to go back and go off that. Okay, now my daughters, they didn't try me. They tried their mothers. They tried their mother. You
really?
know? Yeah. My daughters tried their mother.
Big Sean in the building. What's going on, fam?
So that was different. I mean, it was like, I still commanded that, it still was just a touch of fear, where it's like, I put like this. I raised my son totally different than I raised my daughter. Okay. Like I raised Aiden totally different than I raised my granddaughter.
Gotcha.
I just raised, I'm firm with little girls, but I'm hard on little boys.
I think that's just the nature of things, though, because it's a girl. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the things I would say or do to Lil Phil, I'm not going to do it to my daughters. I talk to them stern, but it's not going to be the way I would talk to Lil Phil.
Gotcha.
Because those are little girls. You know how it is.
I know.
Little
girls have you wrapped around their finger.
They mama Angie, oh my God. She's being there having tussle fights with them girls. But I ain't never had to do that. My thing was at war with Lil Phil when he was a teen. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, we all go through it, and then our fathers put us in our place. And like I know probably one of your sons probably bucked up at you. You had to put them in a place. That's just all the rites of passage of a man. You know what I'm saying?
I have to hang. I partially hung Mike out the window at one point.
Mike, stop saying that over this doggone internet, man.
Look.
You see, I kept on saying putting my son back in place. I'm not going to tell you what I did because I did some things, Lil Phil, but we're not going to talk about that. But I think that we all go through that, Mike. Me and you went through it. We was coming up, and our son, like I told Lil Phil, ain't this going to give you hell.
Yeah.
Tell you that right now. Because you're young. And I try to tell you that things to you know what I'm saying, I try to give you some parenting tips, but for some reason you think me and your mother, we just don't go like this, don't go like parenting tips. The only problem with it, the only problem I got with my generation.
You ain't gotta put my business out there. Good Lord, Jesus. All right, enough of that. Or block her comments. I did. Look, my mom had no chill when she was man. Back in her day.
You know how it is. But chill. You gotta remember, our parents was like totally the way we was where our parents and me and your mother is from where my daddy is from.
It's from the South.
Come on, man. You know, people
that.
come from South. You know how you was getting it.
Yeah.
But like I said at the dinner table, we was over to the in-laws one day. And I think Jack and them got mad at me, Kelly and them got mad at me. But the whole thing was this. I think that my generation, I think that we wanted to do this. I'm not going to raise my kids the way my parents raised me. And I truly think that it got out of hand a little bit where we spoiled our kids and made them real spoiled and entitled along the way. Now, I think that's where a lot of problems with that our generation have with our kids because I'm not going to do my kids like my mama did me or my daddy did me. And in the process, we spoiled and made them, you know. I was raised in a house with breathing hard was sitting back too. Yeah, I could believe.
He told the truth, though. That's crazy. Yeah. But you know what, though? It's interesting that you say that because I think when we all got to a point, we was like, yeah, I'm going to do things differently than our parents. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, I don't think that our parents did a bad job because I think we turned out okay.
No, they did do a bad job. Right? We thought they did a bad job.
However, there are some things that when you look back on, you was like, that was terrible. I was like, why would you do something like that?
No, you go to jail for some stuff. Now,
nowadays it's like
real talk.
But and we're gonna talk about that a little bit too. That's because that's one of the things that one of the tips is. So dads, listen. There are some. Let me also say this. You have to put away parental ego.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us get to a point when we are parents, especially dads, we get this because I said something in our head, or because it's me, or because, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to admit that, okay, maybe I might have been a little wrong with that. But there has to be a point where you have to be honest with yourself and that child and say, look, I don't know everything. But I'm doing the best that I can. Like, I'm going to tell you, I told Michael and Gabriel this straight out. I said, look, dude, I don't know it. I said, I don't have all the answers.
None of us do, right? None of us do.
Right. And I said, I don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to be, and everything that I do is not going to be perfect. I said, but understand that everything that I do is for your best interest.
Exactly.
It's never going to be detrimental to you. And if you are willing to deal with my flaws just as I'm willing to deal with yours, I think we'll be okay. Mm-hmm. So we have to be able to put away that parental ego, like everything I say go because everything I say is right. Because a lot of times, guys and ladies, we're not. And we have to be big enough as parents to say, you know what? Maybe I approach that a little bit differently. And I'm not saying that you give in, because there are certain, and we'll talk about that too, but you have to be able to be honest with yourself. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, then you can't be honest with your child.
Exactly.
So dads, let's talk about some ways that you can kind of help to navigate through that aggravation phase that your kid is going to go through.
Drop them, Mike.
I think the biggest thing that you have to understand, and the biggest thing that's going to help you, is just be there.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
That's the number one thing.
That's the number one thing.
Yes, it is.
You got to understand that teenagers are statistically speaking, and as I was researching it, teenagers are likely to have fewer behavior problems if parents are around. That's both parents. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to be with your child 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It might just be that you're in the house when your child is in their bedroom. And it's okay if your kid don't come and hang out with you all the time.
Exactly. Let that go, parents. Y'all got to stop that.
Look, y'all got to stop that stuff.
Yeah, stop that now.
Stop trying to be under your kid 24 hours. Look, I've learned that they don't want to be.
No, they don't want to be bothered with you like that. You just
Dad, you good. Trust me, you good. But I'm finna go hang with my guys. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, All right, just text when you get there. We got to do something.
Especially you got teenagers, Mike.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, Mo don't want to be around. Mo don't want to be around. 24 hours a day.
No.
Come on, Mo. Let's just sit around and talk.
Let's just sit around and talk.
Dad, I talked to you this morning.
Dad, we good. Didn't I talk to you last night? Like, did you? Like, yeah, I did for like 5 whole minutes. I was like, oh, you're right.
I love you, Dad. If that's what you want, I love you.
It's okay. I was like, all right, fine. But look, they don't want to be under us 24 hours a day. And we as parents should understand that they need their space. Here's the thing. You guys have heard that saying that absence make the heart grow fonder.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. I'm not saying that you take yourself out of your child's life, but you make sure that you give them room to grow. You know what? Kids are like goldfish. You ever notice with goldfish, like if you keep them in a bowl, they stay a certain size, but when you put them in a bigger tank, they grow bigger because they have that room to stretch out. They have that room to grow. Look, the thing is that your kid is going to benefit just knowing that you are there when they need you.
Yep.
So
that's really what they want, Mike. To be honest,
that's what they want.
They really want to know that when I need you, you're going to be there for me.
Right?
That's
like
what
that.
They want.
You don't have to be in the same room. Just be in the vicinity that I'm in, just so I know that if I need you for whatever reason, I know you're there, and I can reach out, and and you're there. And yes, and that's all I need, because you have to be okay with that.
Yep.
I know you're used to when they were little and they were under you and they hung off your every word and everything that you did. They were amazed by it, and you could do no wrong. And it was just like, oh my God, it's Dad.
It's not gonna be like that forever.
It's Daddy. It's just not gonna be like that forever. And it's okay. It really is okay.
You know what? I was the coolest. I'm still cool to him, but not like the way I was when he was little. I was like a superhero to my son.
Bro.
Boy, when that boy hit them teenage years and then was going through our little steps, can't stand him.
I can't stand this nigga.
Can't stand him. We cool. But you know what? I think that me and my son have a great relationship. And I think that even going through that, even when I used to have to get him straight, I still would sit down and talk to him, explain to him the reason why this had to happen like this. Because I don't want you to be, I just always wanted my son to be better than me. So I was like super hard on him, but I used to always let him know, nigga, I don't want you to be me. I want you to be better than me.
Better than me, man.
You know what I'm saying? And it feels good that even in his older age, 29 years old, you always told you want me to be better than you. You want me to be a better father than you. Want me to be a better man. He remembered that stuff. Even though he acted like he didn't remember it then, he remember all that stuff now. Right. So that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. So look, another point, dads, that you got to understand, and that I encourage you to try to do is you got to try to relax on the rules.
Relax.
Here's what I mean by that. I'm not saying don't have rules. You need rules. There have to be boundaries, and there have to be lines drawn in the sand that they cannot cross. That being said, you can't have 40 lines drawn in the sand. You have to pick and choose your fights, because here's why. You're not going to win all of them. You're just not. Because even if you thought you had a victory in your child's mind, no.
No, you ain't get no victory.
You ain't getting no victory. And a lot of time what that does is it drives a wedge between you and your kid. So you have to be able to you have to try to relax on some of the rules. Work out between you guys what you can give a little leeway on, and then make sure that you express to them the things that you're not going to give way on. It's just some things. No, this is not a compromise. It's not. Now, there are some things that, yes, when they get to a certain age that you should be able to negotiate and to compromise. But then There are some things that you should not give way on at all.
No.
But you have to try to relax on the rules just a little bit. Learn how to negotiate. Find a common medium. Find some common ground that you guys can land on and agree with and move on from, because you don't want that thing to be a constant art. It's always an issue. It's always an issue. It's always an issue.
Especially if you got older kids living with you, Mike.
Yeah, you gotta set some ground rules. You gotta set some boundaries, but then you also have to give a little leeway as well. Let me tell you something. When Michael was younger, believe it or not, he was a problem child. I mean, I won't say a problem child, but hey, he was very
my little nephew wasn't no punk. I saw that for myself.
He was very active when he was younger, and a lot of the teachers had problems with him because they didn't know how to handle him. And for a while, it was really frustrating for me and Kelly, because it's just like, man, we know he's not a bad kid. And no, seriously, Jackie, I'm not trying to throw shade at him. I'm just being honest. He wasn't a bad kid, but it's just like, he was very strong-willed.
Chad said the nigga was bad.
That's funny. Look, I mean, no, but he was, he was very strong-willed, and a lot of teachers did not know how to handle that. And and he didn't respect his teachers either, even at a young age, because he knew that they was like he was like, they don't like me and this, that, and other. I'm like, whatever.
He just don't seem like that now, though. It's crazy.
But now he's not. Do you know, it was his third grade teacher, Miss Marcano, and I will remember this until the end of my days. I don't know. This lady just understood Michael. She understood, and she told us flat out. She said, "Mr. and Mrs. Wiley, she said, I just have to pick and choose my battles to fight with Michael." And she gave him, when he was mad and he would be all huffy and puffy, she would tell him, "Listen, I'm not going to talk to you when you're like this. When you're ready to talk, and when you calm down and you're ready to have a real conversation, you come holler at me. In the meantime, you go ahead and huff and puff in the corner. You do whatever it is that you're going to do." She chose what battles to fight with this kid. And do you know, from that point forward, he respected her like that. To this day, he remembers Miss Marcano. And what that did was, it helped us to understand how to better handle him. We just learn it's just certain things we're just not gonna fight you on, dude. But then now these things, okay, maybe we can kind of let's see what we can do. Let's find some common ground. And people think that that's giving in even when they're young, but it's not. It really isn't. You really have to, even kids, you have to be able to find some common ground where you can't always just beat them over the head and beat them over the head.
Especially with behavioral problems. So you're right.
Especially
you're absolutely right, Mike.
You can't do it. Especially like Michael was very strong-willed. And it's just like, you didn't want to break his spirit, because I love that about him. But at the same time, you had to temper it. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it. I get what you're saying.
So when I say, try to relax with the rules, you got to find a way. You got to find things that work out for both you and your team. And it's not you giving in. It's not you relinquishing your power. It's you learning what battles to fight with your kid. Because I'm telling you as a parent, you are not going to win all of them.
Not all of them.
You're just not. And it's okay. Because guess what? Your parents didn't win all the wars that you all had out. You just didn't. And now when I look at him, as you can see, his mom is in the comments, he's a wonderful child. And he is.
Man, nephew ain't no punk, though. I know that.
No. I pray for him daily.
I know nephew ain't taking no butt whoopings from nobody. I saw that for myself.
I pray for him daily. And listen, in that time, here's a key component to that too. In that time, what you need to do is, while you are figuring out which wars and which battles to fight, you need to use some of that time to better connect with your kid.
Yeah.
Because that's how you fit. That's how you work those things
Mike,
out.
do you think sports helped them a little bit also? The football and stuff?
No. Sports gave him an ego. That's what sports did. It gave him an ego.
Man, get off my nephew, man.
I love my kid, man. Look,
nephew too cool for school, man.
I'll go to jail for him. I will go to jail for him.
You said no, sports gave him an ego. That's all it did.
Sports gave him an ego. I promise you it did. I'm guilty of contributing to that as well. Look, my wife will tell you that I'm conceited, but I'm not. I'm confident, but I'm never conceited.
You got a little bootleg in you, man?
No, here's the thing. There's a difference of being confident and conceited. When you're conceited, you tend to down others to put yourself up. When you're confident, you can just walk into a room and still think you're the baddest MF in that room among other people. That's just my mindset.
I get you.
And so I taught them at a young age. I don't care where you are, where you go, and who you talk to.
That's right.
When you walk into the room, you the baddest nigga in that room. Right. And I'm not saying you the toughest and you the strongest, but you are just as good as anybody else in the room that you in.
Oh, believe me, nephew know that. Nephew know that.
Oh, he exudes that.
You can't tell nephew you not. You can't tell me not.
Walk into a room and can't be like, yo, I want somebody to say they better than I am. I mean, that's just his mindset.
But that's one good thing about your two sons, though. One thing about them I've noticed, they're not lacking confidence.
No.
Period.
I wouldn't allow
him or Gabe. They're not lacking confidence, period.
No, I wouldn't allow it because here's the thing, especially when you're a big guy. When you're a big guy, you know, people try to bully you and they make fun of you and stuff like that. Look, I bullied them and made fun of them at home.
Yeah.
So when they were in school,
I don't think they really even mattered to them.
It's like, man, look, my dad called me fat. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it was jokingly, but you know, we would sit up. I would tell them little fat jokes and stuff like that. I said, man, don't let that stuff bother you. I said, next time somebody tell you that they fat, that you fat, I said, you tell them that it ain't your fault that your mama bought groceries and they mama bought crack, and let's see what happens. And then,
I mean, say it again, Mike.
Like you tell them, listen, when they talk about you being fat, you say, it ain't my fault. My mama bought groceries and your mama bought crack. And I said, and if they got to come back, then we'll work on that later. I said, but you hit them with that first, and then we'll build on that. Dude, look, I prepared my kids. You understand what I'm saying? But that being said, guys, you have to be able to pick and fight your battles with your kid. Moving on. I thought this was actually kind of interesting, and I find myself doing this a lot. Share stories with your kids. One thing I used to love about my dad when we were coming up is that he always had really, really cool stories about just different things. And it made me want to talk to him because he just always had a really cool story. It was whether it was about his brothers or people at work or something that he did or something that he used to do. He always had really, really cool stories. And I have learned that kids are never too old for stories.
No.
Never.
No.
Dads, you talk about a way that you can connect with your team. That's a way to do it. Share stories with them. Share some of your experience with them. Let them know that, look, you might have been a nerd in school. Maybe this is something that they're going through because now you're the cool dad. But back then, you might have been the bookworm and you might have read comics and stuff like that. Nerds are kind of in nowadays. You know what I'm saying? But share those stories with them. Let them see some of your vulnerabilities. You're not perfect. Stop trying to paint the picture that you are.
And I don't like that, Mike. I hate that. I don't like when people try to make it, man. Keep it real with your sons, man. Don't try to make it like you was this great guy. And then when it come down to it, and somebody bust your bubble,
right?
They gonna really be looking at you sideways. So what? You been lying to me all these years, man?
You been lying to me all this time, bro? It's like, man,
come on, man.
Look, share those stories with them, man.
Keep it a bean with them. Keep it a bean with them.
Be honest with them, man.
Yeah.
I promise you. Look, I sit up there like you can ask Michael and Gabriel. Now, I'll tell them all. I tell them all kind of stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they be like, "Oh yeah, I remember. Oh man, I remember. Dad told me this, or Dad told me that." And because that's my way of connecting with them. And you know what else? It's a way of teaching them life lessons.
Exactly. That's really that's another one thing about it.
That's really what, man, dude. You don't know how many life lessons you can sneak into a good story.
Yep.
You know, understand what I'm saying? So don't be ashamed. Tell your kids some stories. Tell them some stuff. Tell them about your past, some stuff that you did. How you got in trouble. Yeah.
Don't sit up a lot of your kids, man. Don't even make you look good because
don't do that, man.
That's not cool.
That stuff is for people to be on Facebook all the time. Stop trying to make your life seem like it's more than what it was. Just stop it. You know. Now, Benita says that I think some parents have lost the old school way of raising their children. They talking back using bad language. Their parents want to do just what they want to do, and every child is different, but the basics are still the same for all. Like, respect, obedience. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of
agree with that.
That goes along with that. I don't want to raise my kid the way my mama raised me.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Like I said, it's our generation that took on that doctrine,
right?
Because we was the ones yelling at, "I'm not gonna never raise my kids with your mom and daddy." Wow, how bad was you raised? I mean, it seemed like you turned out okay.
So it couldn't have been that bad.
I get it, Mike. We all was young, and we thought probably that what our parents was doing wasn't cool because we're young. We want to do what we want to do anyway. But as you get old and you think about life and you sit back and remember some things that your parents was trying to make you do that you didn't want to do, and now you're trying to make your kids do what you didn't want to do. My mother laughed at me like when Lil Phil was like from 14 to like 17. My mother father laughed at me.
He was putting you through.
They laughed at me. Payback, nigga. It's payback. They laughed at me because I used to call them, tell them I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. And they'd sit back and be laughing at me. Have me on speakerphone. Yeah, it's payback.
There's payback. That's what I'm about to say. Look, you'll understand. You'll understand.
You'll get it.
And you know what? I learned, and I absolutely got it.
I tell my mama to this day, Mike. I was like, you know what? It was a lot of stuff that I thought you was mean on, but being old, I realized you wasn't being mean. You was just trying to raise me correct.
Just trying to help me and be a good person. I like what Eddie said. He said we pass our history through stories, and we do.
We do, Eddie.
You know,
we sure do.
It's not, man. Look, share them stories with your kids. Hey, Mama, I see Mother Latham is on the line. God bless Mother Latham.
How you doing, Mama?
Yes. God, look, I got some stories with Mother Latham, boy. I tell you, I can tell you some stories, man. But that's a podcast for another day. So look, another point, Dad, that's going to help you is, and I think this is a really important one too. Show interest in your child's interest. I think where a lot of fathers kind of get their lines crossed in is that we sometimes want to live vicariously through our kids.
Yeah.
And that's unfair to them.
Yeah.
Right? We have to understand that they are individuals just like we are.
Yeah.
They have their own likes, they have their own dislikes. They have things that they're interested in, they have things that they could care less about, just like we do. Just because your kid doesn't have the same interests as you does not give you a pass to not be part of what they're doing. You have to be able to show interest in your child's or your teen's interests, because doing that is another way for you to connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you may be a sports fanatic. Sorry, Dad, some of your sons are going to grow up and they may not like sports.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's okay.
Cut it again, Mike.
I'm just saying.
No, but you know, you speaking to me now because Lil Phil played basketball and football at Risk Central.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to focus mainly on basketball, but he wanted to play quarterback in football.
Okay.
And I was on him, hounding on him to play basketball because that's my thing.
Right.
And he got to the point where he's like, okay, I'll play neither. He just stopped playing, period. So I can speak on that, people.
And that's
put your kids away. You really
you can literally push your kid away from you just by simply not showing interest in what they're interested in.
And he stopped playing sports, and his mind started getting focused on other things. So just think that by me not wanting to support him wanting to play football because I just wanted him to play basketball, he stopped playing both sports.
Yep.
And got off into other things. So don't do that, people.
You can't.
Please
don't do that. Michael and Gabriel are complete opposite. Mike is definitely, and Mike is into sports because, like I said, I think it was more so ego than actually his love of sports. He just liked the notoriety that sports got him. But Gabe is the complete opposite. Now, Gabe will watch sports, but he ain't participating in those sports.
No,
because Gabe is a writer. That's what he does. And if I was to sit up there and say, well, Gabe, maybe you should do this and maybe you should do that, and show no interest in anything that he's doing, then that you can actually damage that, because it was like, man, my own father don't even care about.
Yeah, Mike, you can, Mike. Believe me, you believe me, Mike. You are speaking straight facts right now. You can damage them, man. You can
damage them, bro. There are some things. There are some things that I wish my dad was interested. Like when it came to certain things that I really wish that he was more interested in it than I was. Like because that's something that I felt like I could share with him. Like, hey, look, let's do this, or look at this, or whatever. But it was just he was like, oh, okay, that's great. And so I stopped. I stopped trying to make him interested, and then eventually I fell out of interest with some things. So I'm encouraging you as a dad to understand that your kid may not have the same interests as you. Moms, it's the same thing with you. Your daughters may not be interested in clothes and shoes and all that stuff like you are. She may be earthy. She may be a little bit on the tomboy side. You know what I'm saying? That might not be her thing right now. So be mindful that your child has his or her own interests, and be interested in what they're interested in. Learn what it is that they like. Use that as a way to connect, because you may be saying, man, I want to spend more time with them, but they don't want to spend time with you because you don't care about anything that they're doing.
Yeah.
Use that as a way as a way in.
Yeah.
Like, well, what are you doing? Oh, well, what's that? I want to know more about it. And don't do it in such a superficial way where they look at it like you don't really care. You're just trying to do. No, you don't want to do that. But use that as a natural way in to get to know your kid better. You want to find a way to connect with them. You want to find a way to spend more time with them. That's a way of doing it. Showing more interest in your kid's interest. Dads, I'm telling you now, especially if you got sons, just don't dump sports on them, man.
Use me as an example. That's a mistake. I always wish I could take that mistake back, because had I got in support of the football thing, who knows? He probably would have wanted to play both sports. But with me, I was trying to live.
You was just like, no, basketball.
I was trying to live through my son with the basketball.
Yeah.
But what you gonna play football for? No, you need to focus on. I'm gonna get you in this camp. You can't be doing this, and then you playing football. You want to play quarterback, you get tackled. You can't do, because I played football one game, got this on my nose.
So never again.
Basketball was my sport ever since, and I love playing basketball. But when I was in high school, I didn't take basketball serious like that.
Right.
So now that my son's in high school now, I'm trying to live through him, and in the process of doing that, he just said, bump it. I don't play neither one. And his mind got focused on other things. And just think, if I would have supported him with the football, you never know what could have happened. So that's a mistake I wish I could change. So, fellas, please support whatever your kids are doing.
Yep. And then to piggyback on that, guys, let your child be the expert. Don't show interest in what it is that they're doing and then take it over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Let your child be the expert. Let your kid, let your teen be the expert. Let her show you that they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Give them
off real quick too.
Because that's a major turnoff when you come in and now you trying to take over what I like when you didn't even like it before.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Please don't do that. Because then when you try, that's like me. That's like if Gabriel writes something and he comes share with me, and then I try to rewrite the whole thing. No, you should say this. You should say that. Like, Dad, you don't write. Like, no, but I know what I'm. No, don't do that. Let them shine. Let them be great. Stop trying to shortchange them. Let them do what they do. Listen, and above all, out of all the things that we discussed on today, please just show them how much you love them. I know with boys sometimes, and I mean, sometimes we as dads, we say, well, I love them because I'm taking care of them, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. You gotta show them how much you love them. Mm-hmm. Let me say this: I don't care how old they get, they're never too old for a hug. I was sitting in the kitchen one time, and Michael came in the kitchen. What's up, man? Okay. Just sitting in the kitchen. I'm washing dishes. And I said, hey, Mike, come here. He was like, huh? I was like, come here. He was like, what? I was like, come here. I was like, what do you want? I was like, come here. And he was like, what? And he got close enough, and I hugged him. And I just held him for a second, and eventually he hugged back. Yeah, man. And I said, I love you, man. He was like, I love you too, Dad. And then he walked out the kitchen. But he was smiling when he walked out the kitchen. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
We don't need it all the time, Mike. And men and boys.
Right. We don't need it all the time.
Every now and then we want that hug from our fathers.
Absolutely.
Or our sons. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Because we'll show our daughters love easily. Because that's my baby girl. Come here.
Yeah, baby girl.
Baby girl. But when it's your sons, it's different. But listen, don't ever hesitate to let your kids know that you love them. Yeah. Saying it is one thing, affection is another thing. Hug them boys every now and again. Kiss them on the forehead, like, man, I love you.
Yeah, so I do little feel like you gotta get hug and kiss him on his forehead. Love you, little nigga. Kiss him on his forehead, and he be good.
Yeah, man. I mean, look. You gotta understand that as your kids get older, they are going to they're going to separate from you. That's the whole thing, right? Our whole job is to raise them and prepare them so that they can eventually branch out on their own and be hopefully productive members of society. So we shouldn't dread when they start that separation process. But we want to make sure that whatever it is that we do, that we're always in our kids' life, even when we don't feel like we are, they're going to always need us. And dads, I know sometimes when they play that role, like they don't want to be bothered with you, it's hurtful. Mm-hmm. Because you start thinking about all the sacrifices that you've made. You had the weekend plan and you was going to get yourself them new Jordans that came out. But then son had some football fees that came up, or somebody wanted to go to some trip or something like that, or baby girl had to have some fees, or whatever the case may have been, and that money had to go elsewhere. The sacrifices that you made with them coming up, the trips to the doctor, if mom didn't do it. And mom, I know you played a big part too, but there are some things that dad sacrificed as well. And when that child acts like he or she don't appreciate it, it hurts. But just know that it's not intentional. They're not trying to hurt you.
Brother-in-law, pull up Benita Bias. Pull up Benita last ones with Make No Mistake.
The last one.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see. A good one.
Make no mistake, girls need their fathers so they don't grow up with daddy issues that will mess them up in their relationship with men. Absolutely. Girls need their dads. Yeah. And especially if you're a good dad, so they'll know what to look for in a man. Exactly. And boys need their fathers too, so they'll know what a good man looks like. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's important. It's important, very important that you're in your kids' life. Be there for them. You ain't got to be under them, but be there for them when they need you. Just know, so they'll know that you're there.
Just be there. That's all. Just be there.
Just be there. Love on them knuckleheads and appreciate them. And just do your best. because we all know that we're not perfect, but we know that everything that we do for our kids is for their good, and they will eventually get out of that aggravation phase and will enter into the appreciation phase, because they'll look back and see everything that you did and say, you know what, you was right, and I appreciate that stuff. So hopefully this helps somebody. I know it helped me when I was reading it, and I think look, we just want to be better. That's the goal. Just better fathers, man. That's all we're trying to be. That's all we're trying to be. We're just trying to be better dads. That's it. You know, ladies, I don't know, whatever your situation is. If you with your man, if you're not with your man, look, if he's a good guy, don't be spiteful and not let that man be in that kid's life. Stop that stuff. Stop it. I'm so sick of brothers that I know that's fighting with these moms to see their kids, and they trying to do right. And I don't, and you know, and some of y'all, I'm not saying that it's every situation, but some of y'all women can be real spiteful.
Yeah.
And don't want that man to see that child. And then you sit up there, and then when he on the news about because he been shot up at school, you talking about something, he was a good kid and this, that, and the other. Let that man be in that kid's life. If he's a good guy.
But
now, if you know he ain't about nothing, I don't blame you. But if the man is trying to do right and he trying to be in the child's life, let that man be in his life. He needs that. Yeah, she needs it.
But you know what, fellas, and I know a lot of us where we come from, we don't like it. But if you going through that situation, it's time to put the courts in there. It's time to get some legal visitations and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you do come across women that use the kids as pawns against the fathers. And don't get me wrong, you know, it's not all women, but then it comes, if you're a good father, you really want to be in your kid's life, she's tripping, you gotta put the courts in there now. Now I need to take you to court so I get my visitation rights and stuff.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're gonna send me to court for child support. So since I'm paying child support, let's go to court so I get my visitations.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna collect the child support check from me and still not let me see my child.
Right. You gotta work it out, man. So listen, I hope this was a blessing to somebody. If you know somebody that may like like the content on this video, please share this video, tag them in this video, man. Let them know what we're doing over here on Manup. I'm just going through some of the comments. There's some awesome comments. I love this by Eddie. He said, fathers need to see the parts of themselves in their sons, and your tenacity and focus may be passed and used in a different talent. I like that. And look, this is true. Writers don't like when you try to rewrite their stuff because they be looking at you like you don't understand what I'm trying to convey. I'll be like,
and you already said, Eddie, cause Gabe is a great writer.
Man, look.
Mike can't write nothing, so you already know he's gonna mess the boy thing up.
First of all, don't sell me short, bro.
I'm gonna sell you short when it comes to my nephew Gabe.
I can write now, but Gabe is definitely a better writer than I am.
He's on a whole nother level from you.
Yeah, he's on a whole nother level from me.
Let me hold on. Wait a minute, Gabe.
I'm like, hold on,
put this word with that word.
He'd be like, no. He just say he played me like, no, I'm not doing that.
No, not doing that.
Not doing that, man. Absolutely, Eddie, man. Hug them because they need it. We died 10 years younger than women, and they come and they come through you. Love them so they learn to love themselves enough to show love to their children. Absolutely. Yeah. Look, I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that hung around, man.
Whoa, wait. What? Please go like, subscribe to our YouTube page because Manup Sports is coming real soon.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, I know it's his first game. He looked real good Sunday, so I really want to start talking about the football season. I want Mike to start hating again. So please go like our YouTube page. Please like our YouTube page. So we get this Manup Sports thing started so Mike can do what he's doing right there and I can come back. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Bear down.
Oh yeah. So look, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. My brothers, hang in there. It's gonna get better.
Yes, sir.
You know, they say one day it's gonna get better, but understand that someday comes one day at a time.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So as long as we take it one day at a time, and each day we take it, we striving to get better. You know, it'll be all right. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Like, tag, and share this video to your peoples. Let them know what Manup is doing. If you don't already follow us, please follow us on social media. As Phil said, to go ahead and hit us up on YouTube. Please follow us on Twitter and all the other social media outlets. If you don't already follow us on Facebook, please do, so you can get notified when we go live. And look, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're about to cut it off here. Every Tuesday, 6:00. We'll be back here next week. Next week, we're gonna have a young entrepreneur on. Hopefully, she don't chicken out. I'm gonna call her, make sure she still come on. But we are still celebrating our entrepreneurs throughout the year. This is a young lady. She's gonna be on next week. Have her on, and then at the end of the month, we're gonna have Dr. Carrie Motley, and she's going to be talking about her book that she has out. So we got some good shows planned for you guys. So make sure y'all come back and hang out with your boys. And on behalf of Philip Hines and myself, this has been the Man Up Real Talk podcast. And until we talk again, my friends, y'all get 2 fingers to the side. Make sure you holler at your boys, because we out.
Peace.